Hey, it's Daniel. Nice to see y'all. I'm just popping in to share with you something about trauma. So I'm going on this lovely walk. And I felt inspired to share it because I've just been on a call with a woman. And she just said, and this happens for a lot of us, she just said, I feel really heavy today and I want to explore what's that about. And she just said she feels really heavy, sort of depressed, sad. She has no idea why. Something's happened today that may have triggered that or brought that up, but she's not absolutely sure. And she knows by now, by our work, that it's not really, how you feel is not really about what happens outside of you. It's really about what stories and what's activated inside of you as a result of what happens outside. So the thing to get about trauma and any emotional pain we have is that it's stored in our body, and it's like a memory that shows up every time someone in our world, something in our life happens that reminds us of a certain event that happened in the past. And we don't necessarily immediately connect what happens to the past and understand that the trigger from the outside just reminds our mind and brain of something that happened to us in the past. And that's exactly why we suffer, because we think that our anger, our heaviness, our depression, or anxiety is about the present. We're absolutely sure of it when it's really not. And that was the case with her. And the key is to understand that it's really the memory is stored in the body and the healing happens there. So I just asked her to feel how it feels, like how this heaviness feels. And she's pretty attuned to herself. And as she felt it, she felt this heaviness in her gut, in her belly. And as we started to explore it, images started to come up. I started to ask her, have you ever felt that before? And suddenly, as she was feeling this feeling in her gut, she started to feel rage and anger. And then she started to connect it. She started to realize, oh wow, this is exactly how I felt as a child when my dad was angry at me or my mom was angry at me. I felt the same heaviness and I felt the same anger back and this pain. And she felt a lot of shame about her anger back too, because then she realized that when she was a child, she was shamed for being angry. Her parents were angry at her and then telling her, you shouldn't be angry. What's wrong with you? Now, she came today with this heaviness after she told me someone else in her world was a bit judgmental about something they were doing. And he wasn't necessarily judging her, but just the process. But for her, her mind connected his judgments about the process they were doing together with what happened to her as a child when her parents were mad at her and she felt all this heaviness. And that's exactly the memory of trauma coming up in the present moment, but it's not really about the present moment, it's about the past. And the thing for healing trauma is all you need to do is feel it with compassion and have someone maybe feel it with you, because sometimes it can get overwhelming. And it was a really touching session for me. She was feeling a lot of grief and pain. But the amazing thing is that she just allowed that to come out, and I invited her to express her anger and express her pain and express her sadness. She could kind of start letting it go. And by the end of the call, she felt like she's allowed to feel angry and she's felt stronger inside. She felt more resourceful and like she can handle these situations better next time. And notice I didn't do that with her by asking her about her thoughts. All we did is feel into how her body feels and then what's the memory, what's the cause of that. And I want to invite you for your life when you feel an emotion or a difficult sensation in your body, to consider that maybe it's a memory. Maybe it's not really about now, it's about the past. And just allow yourself to really feel it. Just feel how it feels instead of avoiding it. Really allow yourself to feel it. And you would see that the emotion transforms, the sensation starts to change. And then you can ask yourself, when have I felt that before? What was the first time I felt this? And many times you'd see that it was something in your childhood or when you were a teenager or younger where you felt exactly the same way. And now it's just a repeating pattern that you have. And you'd see that it's not about the present, it's actually about the past. And that would give you enough insight to change it and to not suffer from it anymore, to not be reactive. So hopefully that's helpful. I am doing a workshop on Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, on healing trauma and emotional wounds. If that interests you, you're welcome to contact me. Send me a message or comment on this video. Much love to you, and may you heal from your emotional wounds and pain. Loving kindness, Daniel.